This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and I am with rap artist the mighty Casey, who did a song called Billy Jack, The Boys on the Tracks, that I've had sent to me by numerous people since I did my own interview with Billy Jack Haynes, and he talked about this Boys on the Tracks thing. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, man. Yeah, it's unseasonably warm out here in New York City. It's about 42 degrees. It's a little warmer than it normally is around this time of year, so I'm doing pretty good.
So, what made you do this music video about Billy Jack Haynes's Boys on the Track story?
Well, aside from being a rapper, I'm also a journalist, and I wrote a book called Inside the CIA Secret War in Jamaica. And from my research, it kind of started off in Jamaica, wound up in Cuba, and then the research wound up taking me to Arkansas. Me to Arkansas, I started learning about Barry Seal, about L.D. Brown, who was a CIA agent, whistleblower, who claimed that he was selling cocaine for Bill Clinton, the CIA. I read a book called Compromise by Terry Reid. And in that book, he talks about how he worked with Barry Seal selling cocaine, and how Bill Clinton was involved, and how George H.W. Bush was involved, and Cuban people like Felix Rodriguez and Luis Posada. So I was already interested in that subject matter of kind of Arkansas and the drug running that was going around, and I'm a bit of a news hound. So when I saw a news article about a wrestler accusing a politician of selling cocaine and being involved in this Boys on the Tracks. This might have been February 2 years ago, and I read it, and obviously I knew who the politician was because he didn't name the politician, and the wrestler was Billy Jack Haynes. And so then he actually had another interview with this dude called Doc Washburn, where he named everybody and broke down everything. And I had done a little research on the case, like for my book, and out of personal interest. I don't want to call myself a conspiracy theorist. I like to call myself a conspiracy realist. So I investigate a lot of stuff like CI drug trafficking and the assassinations and stuff like that. So all his what he said was kind of the missing piece to that story for me, because it was a big time unsolved mystery. Obviously there was a big cover up that was coming from Bill Clinton and the Arkansas government. So I really believed him, and originally I think I was trying to write a story about it, and I couldn't get any outlets to pick it up. And and Mankind, the rap group I manage, they're featured on it. They have done a lot of like also political rap, and also they're called Mankind, like Mick Foley. So they're like wrestling based. I'm not a big wrestling fan, but they're really super wrestling guys, and they base a lot, not some of their music on like wrestling culture. So now I figured like maybe I can't get the story out, on a website, but maybe like a song will make it happen. And so I just started rapping like I was Bill Clinton, like if I was a big time drug dealer, because a lot of rap is like big time drug dealer talk, but they don't really show the other side of the big side of how the drugs get in. So for a new song, I was like, all right, let's take this incident that Billy Jack talked about in these interviews and kind of make it into a song.
And Billy Jack liked the song, by the way. I don't know if you've ever talked to him, but I sent it to him and he said he'd already
Oh,
seen it.
really? I think I had problems with. Well, Billy Jack didn't have a problem with me originally, but because Ed Opperman, I don't know you or someone else brought up Ed Opperman, who's a friend of mine, and they had, I think, I actually told Ed to interview him, but I think they got in a disagreement. But I know I love to talk to him. I have a friend, Diafula Dubashi. Are you aware of this guy? He's a wrestler. He's
No.
a wrestler from Yemen. He's an Arabic wrestler. He's also a Trump supporter. But so originally, when I heard the story from him, I was searching for it, and then I found him doing a podcast, and it turns out that Billy Jack actually told Dubashi about a similar story, not so much details. So just to kind of confirm, like Simi saying it was real. So no, that's great. I love to get Billy Jack's reaction. I'm glad he liked it. I know that Linda Ives, who's the mother of the one of the child's Don had Kevin Ives, I believe. She actually liked the song as well, and another investigator, they also liked the song. And I think they had a little tiff Because originally, I think you had Linda Ives and Billy Jack being on kind of the same team, and I think there's been people maybe in Linda's ears trying to get her not to believe Billy, and I can understand why. But I've told her that I do believe he's telling the truth, and I
So
know I
you do
understand.
believe he's telling the truth? Because I
Yeah,
researched it and he was off those days from his WWE schedule. So it is possible. I've asked other wrestlers. He was involved in selling drugs. That's true. To what extent? Nobody's been able to confirm if he was actually transporting huge amounts of drugs or not, but he did sell drugs.
right.
So they,
And I think Gene Duffy spoke to Barry Seal's widow, and she said she didn't know of any connection there. I think this really deserves a really investigation, because there has to be flight records, phone calls, other possible witnesses. Because there's two scenarios for me. It's not out of the realm of possibility he's lying, but if he did that, I mean, he had to really do some serious research on all these people and everything that was going on, put himself in this. And if he either he believed that the Clintons were doing this, and then he just wanted to, get it, which he obviously, you can put yourself up for libel, you could get yourself, he implicated himself in a crime, so he could get killed or go to jail for this, for what he's saying. And what makes me believe it even more is that the people haven't reacted. Like, normally there'd be like a debunk, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he's lying. Like, and that would be a big story. So you could get Washington Post, whoever, they say, nope, he was here. We have a witness that said he was here. The flight records. Bill Clinton wasn't even in Arkansas on that day. So I really think that this really deserves a full-on investigation from like either major news organization or a government organization, which is tough because the government would have been involved in this. So you can't really ask the CIA to go investigate, or the FBI, because they've been complicit in these activities and the cover-ups.
so why do you think that the police haven't actually brought Billy Jack in and actually questioned him like they would anyone else suspected in being involved with the murder?
Well, I've done a little research on that, and I think there's a detective who's been working with Billy Jack by the name of Keith Roosevelt. Oh, excuse me if I pronounced the last name. And the actual police who were in the district, I believe it's Alexander, or I forget the name of the county. I'm drawing a blank. But he was the nephew of one of the people accused of being involved in this murder. Is now the current sheriff who they talked to. So Keith was kind of hesitant about talking to him. And then there was another gentleman, a new sheriff, who kind of reached out to Keith, and Keith actually recorded it. And this guy seems like a CIA deep state guy who had no business really being a sheriff in Arkansas. So there has been some law enforcement contact between Billy's kind of intermediary, Keith Roosevelt, who is a private detective who also really believes what Billy Jack hasn't. But then you have nothing from FBI, of course, because if what he's saying is true, that these people are complicit. So if you have the corrupt law enforcement from the sheriff, and now if you go to the governor of Arkansas, he named another person who Billy Jack said was involved in murder, the drug czar. So this guy, I'm drawing a blank on the name again here, Jay Campbell and Kirk, he's currently the drug czar of Arkansas, is one of the people that Billy Jack implicated in the murder. So you really can't go to the state, you really can't go to the town, and then if you go to the FBI, you're if according to my research, this is a CIA operation, so the FBI doesn't really investigate the CIA. So it's kind
And
of
one thing I know about Billy Jack Haynes too is he's not technical. Like he doesn't operate his own Twitter. He's not very internet savvy. So I don't know if he could have actually done all this computer research to find all that information, as you
that would
said.
have been amazing to and I mean that would be a very weird and crazy psychotic case of someone doing that. And maybe people have done that before. They see stuff on Netflix where crazy people put themselves in the middle of the crime. But so then I think why don't they investigate the crime and disprove them? Why don't they, they have the resources now? It'd be really But the easiest way to disprove Billy Jack Haynes is to really investigate this crime, to really go back to look at the people he named, Jay Campbell and Kirk Lane. That's his name. Jay Campbell and Kirk Lane were the two police officers, Billy Jack, and others implicated. Like several other people implicated Jay Campbell and Kirk Lane. And actually, there was a documentary that just listed them as, you know, possible persons of interest. And they sued the documentary person for libel. Originally, they won, but then it was overturned, saying, "Hey," and the judge almost said, "Hey, I think you guys might be guilty. Like, it's not really libelous for these guys to insinuate that you guys did this." So, there's a lot of reasons law enforcement wouldn't want to be involved, especially in Arkansas.
So, from your research, you said you've investigated this even before you heard Billy Jack talking about it. What do you think happened?
What I think happened was that the boys, through some, I mean, there's a really good book by Mara Levitt, Boys on the Tracks, that, you know, that goes into detail. But I think for some reason you had Don Henry, Kevin Ives. They found out something funny was happening, like maybe money, drugs are popping. You know, if I was a 17-year-old kid and one of my friends said, "Hey, there's some money, we could just go on the tracks or something." So they got themselves involved in a major cocaine trafficking stop. So a lot of the cocaine was going from Mena, Arkansas to Little Rock was where all the business was. So that's where Bill Clinton was. And they were actually in the suburb of Little Rock. So this is where a lot of drug drops were happening. And, you
dropped
know,
from the air, so dropped
yeah,
from like planes or helicopters.
right. So, you know, they might have got that. And I think from what Billy Jack said and from what other people have said, that, you know, people were on the lookout to see who has been, you know, stealing from the drug drops. I think they got caught. There's most accounts follow Billy Jack Haynes, so they got caught, shot at, ran away. One kid got away. I'm trying to blank on his name. The other two kids ran away, got to a convenience store. Cops pull up to the convenience store, beat the crap out of them, kill them, lay them on the train tracks, and yeah. So, in terms of what I believe, so there's been a lot of different stories on it. So there's one witness, Charlene Wilson, who had a slightly different account of all the accounts I've read. But when I look at her, she said she actually stabbed the boys and she didn't implicate the police. And she's the only witness who didn't implicate the police officers. Everyone else implicates the police officers. And she says she stabbed them along with another a lawyer. So it's so funny that this is like everybody from the police to the prosecutors to the governor was involved in this murder. So you're having a cover up at so many levels. So she said it was actually the lawyer who, drawing a blank on his name, who stabbed on and didn't. But what makes me think is that her confession seemed to be under the presence of police officers who would probably want to divert the attention. So what I believe happened was Kirk Lane, Jay Campbell beat the living crap out of these poor little kids. And then in order to make it seem like they didn't kill someone, they put them on the train tracks. And then the most ridiculous explanation came out that this is how you knew it was a cover-up from the government. The most ridiculous explanation from their death was that they each smoked 20 joints in a 30-minute time period, passed out on the train tracks, and were just ran over. So,
and they were covered up too, so it didn't make sense because they had the tarp over them, right?
Yeah. So when you know that the government is lying, you know that the government is covering up. So why are they lying? Because they are involved. So I would believe Bill Clinton is involved very much. So I don't know to the extent of Billy Jack, but that would make sense. You know, he's not the only person to say that Bill Clinton was involved in the cocaine trade. You've had other people, like I said, L.D. Brown, Chip Tatum, Terry Reid, all reputable sources. His own brother was charged with cocaine trafficking. I think he pled out to possession, and then he was later pardoned. One of Bill Clinton's big backers, Dan Lassiter, who bragged about, well, he didn't brag about it, but he admitted to giving 14-year-old girls cocaine at parties, because they had so much cocaine that he wasn't selling it. It was like, this is just the leftovers from the shipments. This is just our party cocaine. So they were just giving left and right.
Very interesting. Now, I am going to put the link to your video in the description. I am not the biggest rap fan. I like the 90s rap the best, but I really enjoyed this song. And other people that I've played this for that are more wrestling fans and rap fans have also enjoyed it. So,
That's
anyone
great.
watching this,
Also check out Mankind too. Like I'm saying, that's the group I manage. So check out them. They have a lot of, wrestling stuff. So there's, Cactus Jack, dude, love that energy. So definitely in hip hop form. So all y'all wrestling fans out there, check out Mankind, check out Boys on the Tracks.
where can they follow you on social media if they want to look you up?
Casey Gaines, CASEYGANE. That is my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook.
Now, I also cover the UFO subject on this channel, and you mentioned that you are interested in a lot of government cover-up types things. I mean, we've seen the government actually release some videos that were leaked, I guess, originally that the Air Force had taken of UFOs back in 2004. Now they've released part of it publicly, but they haven't released the full footage. I'm just wondering what your opinion is on that.
For me, like, I really need like hardcore evidence. Like, I'm definitely know the government's lying, so there's probably something. I don't know what it is. It's a very interesting subject. I keep on reading even tidbits, like, even when I research stuff like, the JFK assassination, someone, there was one person said, oh no, they killed him because he wouldn't do what the aliens said. I was like, so I don't know. And there's, that's what I've heard. I don't know. And I've come to a point where I really can't discount anything, and I'm really not going to jump and believe anything. But you have things it's hard to explain how the pyramids were made. There's some things that are kind of hard to explain. There's sightings that are hard to explain. So I don't know. I'm interested. I hope they come and show their face soon and let us know what's up.
Well, thanks for talking to us. I hope your song gets more and more popular, and I'm going to investigate this case more as time goes on.
Yes, it's really interesting. I can share some notes with you if you want. I have like a Google Doc.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. Any message to close this off? Any rap you could give us to close this off? Quick rap for the fans.
Let me see who's on. All right, there we go. I'm an artist and a motherfucking businessman. I wrote my lyrics in my motherfucking business plan. I'm back at it. I practice mathematics. I lean like crack addicts attached to craftmatics. They said I was washed up. I got up and bossed up. I got up with John and I started a startup. That's just a little something right there. And I do have a startup. It's mvgen.com. It's a music video generator. We actually have a lot of wrestling stuff. So if you want to make a music video with your favorite wrestlers, you go to mvgen.com, upload your music, and you type in, it could be Hulk Hogan, Cena. We have a lot of another hip hop group that's really influenced by wrestling is Griselda Records, Westside Gun and Conway, and they have a couple. They got a great song, SummerSlam '88. We got a great song, Mr. T, and we find wrestling gifts to match their stuff. So if you like gifts and you like wrestling, go to mvgen.com and have some fun over there.
I'm gonna have to look up the Mr. T song. I'm a big fan of his.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah, I loved him in the A-Team. He was a hero of mine growing up.